But we're going to begin in Maryland. So for the first time, I should say, in almost 2 years, the family of Rachel Morin can turn their thoughts away from the law and the courts and the justice to try to find just some peace. Now, if you were with us last night, you know the 23-year-old undocumented immigrant who is charged with Rachel's sadistic murder on a jogging trail in Maryland was convicted in less than an hour after a 9-day trial. A jury found Victor Martinez-Hernandez guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, first-degree rape, and kidnapping, and he will almost certainly be sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Here's the prosecutor after yesterday's verdict.
It is my sincere hope that today's verdict brings some peace and closure to the entire Morin family. While no verdict or sentence can ever bring Rachel back, I am proud of the work that was done to ensure that justice was served and that Victor Martinez-Hernandez will never again be a threat to another woman in his lifetime.
Now, this was a slam-dunk case. I mean, the evidence was against him, and this suspect was ID'd from DNA at the murder scene in Maryland and from an assault in Los Angeles months earlier. Remember this video? But it still took almost a year to track him to a bar stool in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And through it all, Rachel's family grieved and hoped and waited, and they finally got a sense of justice. And now it is my pleasure to welcome onto the show Patty Morin. This is Rachel's mother. Patty, thank you so much for taking the time. This journey over the last several years, it's unimaginable. And after what happened this week, I just wanted to ask, how are you holding up? How are you doing right now?
It's kind of like a weird place to be because we're happy. And like, I don't even know if happy is the word, but I don't know what other word to use. We're happy that there has justice has been found for my daughter, that the evidence presented was so irrefutable that we truly believe that he was the murderer, and to see the process and to understand the crime, and then to see the juror, pay attention to the details of the case as it's presented, and to come back with a verdict it felt like finally it was over. Like, for the last 19 months, at first we didn't believe that she died, and then we were almost losing hope that they wouldn't be able to find anybody because it just seemed so impossible. But all the detectives and the law enforcement agencies working behind the scenes and then not telling the family all the details, which made us kind of frustrated and angry because we didn't know, do they really know what they're doing or not? Because we've never been this way before. But to see it all just accumulate, I'm so emotional right now, I can't even speak.
That's okay.
Just come together and like such a perfect defense or prosecution where every detail was like layer upon layer upon layer of irrefutable. It just made me so grateful for all of the men and women that worked on this case. They took Rachel as if she was their family member, and they worked so hard for our family to find justice for Rachel and to bring this to a closure for us. So I'm happy and I'm sad.
No, look, you know, Patty, this is, as you said, your first introduction to the criminal system, the criminal justice system, and hopefully this is the last you ever experience it. And I'll say I speak to a lot of victims' family members, and everything you described, completely normal. They talk about this relief, this weight that they had to carry from when the crime was committed through the investigation, the arrest. It's completely normal. You know, one of the beautiful things about Rachel was she had this big family and she had these children. How are they doing? Do the younger ones understand what's going on right now?
I don't think they completely understand just because of their age. I know that they've been told that mom has gone to heaven and that mom's not coming back. But I think as they grow and they revisit this and get more details, you know, as they're old enough to understand, I think that they're going to be grieving over the next few years as they process this. But I do have to say, during the trial, 2 of her daughters had to give testimony. And it was so heartbreaking. They were so brave, but it was so heartbreaking. Her 14-year-old daughter, Violet, was the last one to actually speak with her and communicate. And she broke down on the witness stand trying to keep herself composed to answer questions. And then when she's leaving the courtroom, you just hear her just break out into these heart-wrenching sobs. It was so hard because we were asked not to show emotion in the courtroom so that our emotions wouldn't persuade the jury in any way, because we really wanted to have a fair and just trial so that the verdict would just be a solid verdict. But just to hear her heart-wrenching sobs was so hard. So they still have a long way to go to heal.
That testimony was incredibly difficult because not only are they talking about the loss of their mother, they're talking about the last time they spoke to her and also trying to get a hold of her. And you know that sense of fear. It was really, really difficult to hear that testimony. There was a word you used before. You said how the evidence was irrefutable. I couldn't agree more. From a legal point of view, I'm an attorney. I mean, this was a slam dunk case in my perspective. I said it day one of this trial. But when you hear the defense, you hear them putting forward the defenses, right? The idea here, there was no motive. He didn't know Rachel, that a witness allegedly saw this mysterious man in the woods. Look, he's entitled to a defense, and they put one on. What was your reaction to those defenses?
Well, my first reaction was that these folks that are defending the defendant probably have never walked the trail, because if they had, they would have known the position of the son, which the prosecutor, Allison Healy, she did such an excellent job. She brought out that the witness, when he turned around to see the man in the woods, he was actually looking into the sun. So the person that he saw in the woods would have had sunlight on his face, which would have made his features lighter. And he was also up on like a little knoll, so it would have made him taller. And so Allison brought that out after the fact. But, and then the other one was, remind me again what the other one was.
Well, there was no motive. He didn't know who she was. You know, there was no connection to her whatsoever. And by the way, from a legal point of view, you know, prosecutors don't have to prove that there is a motive, but they said there was no connection. He had no reason to do this.
But I mean, they showed a straight line from the tunnel to where the watch was on the trail to the shovel that they found to the house he was living in. So, do men need a motive to kill?
No.
Sometimes it's just in their hearts to do. I never believed that men were totally evil. But this is the first time that I really think that I have seen an evil person. It is just, it's frightening. And he lived here in Bel Air among us, even after her murder. And we have, what, 20 million people, illegal immigrants in the country now? And they say 1.4 million of them are criminals with detainers that they want to leave. So it just, if they don't have a motive and they don't need a motive, they just do it.
Let me ask you about that, Patty.
Because
let me ask you about that, really, because there's so much talk right now about what his punishment should be, right? I mean, it seems set in stone that he's probably going to be facing life in prison without the possibility of parole, no death penalty on the table. First, let me start there. If the death penalty was on the table, would you be advocating it? Would you be advocating for it in this case?
That's a hard question for me, only because I do think that if you commit a murder and you do it without reservation, and he did it premeditatedly, that that should be on the table, because he willingly, purposely took a life. And I think that if the death penalty was a standard across all the United States, that there would be less crime as far as murder, because people don't want to lose their life. People are going to do everything they can to fight to live. I know my daughter did. But a part of me also thinks that, you know, I'm a Christian, and this may sound terrible to some people, but there's a verse in James and it says, mercy rejoices against judgment. And for this man to have life in prison without the possibility of parole, he'll still have more than my daughter has. He'll have breath in his lungs. He'll have family. That's more than we have. So I'm conflicted. Part of me thinks that the death penalty should be in place, but in Maryland, it's not an option.
Well, there is this conversation right now, and look, his life will not be easy behind bars. There is this conversation about whether or not the most violent criminals in this country should be sent to another country, like El Salvador, where the prison system is much worse, to serve out their days. You think that would be a good punishment for him? You think that would be appropriate punishment for him?
I think that it's probably not an option, just because he was tried here in Maryland, and it was an excellent judge in the case. She was very fair, and she did everything by the book. So I think whatever she ends up sentenced, this is poor English. I'm so emotional right now. I'm trying to control myself.
No, I completely understand.
I think whatever sentence that she gives will be appropriate for the crime. And if he does get life in prison without the possibility of parole, at least we'll know he's in America, and we'll know that he will stay behind bars.
Right.
If you take and send them to another country, all that has to do is be some kind of a upheaval in that country, and things can change.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand that. Before I let you go, Patty, 1 minute left. Just what would you like everyone to know about your daughter, Rachel, as we conclude this chapter in her story?
Rachel was a very loving person. She had compassion on everyone. She accepted people at face value. She was very authentic. And she's somebody that is going to be greatly missed. Everyone says about their loved ones how wonderful they are, but Rachel truly was a wonderful woman, and very loved and missed by her family.
She was a beautiful person, Patty, with a beautiful family. Thank you so much for coming on. I am personally sending my best wishes and thoughts to you and the rest of the family. And again, what is a very difficult time, and appreciate you taking the time. And if there's anything, you know, we here can do, you let us know, okay?
I will. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.